She whispered she loved you last night. Today, your bank account is empty, your friends are gone, and you no longer recognize the man in the mirror. You're about to discover how a single woman can systematically dismantle every pillar of your life, and why you hand her the demolition tools yourself. What I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes isn't romantic self-help book theory. It's the raw mechanics of relational destruction that has already left millions of men in financial, emotional, and social ruins. Men who swore it would never happen to them. Most men believe love is a shield against exploitation, that their good intentions, hard work, and dedication guarantee reciprocity. This is the first and most fatal illusion. Relationships aren't flower fields where kindness always blooms. They are arenas of power where those who don't know the rules of the game pay with their lives. And you, my friend, are playing without even knowing the game has begun. I'm going to name the unnameable. The less you protect your resources, the more she consumes them. The more you yield your boundaries, the less she respects you. The more you isolate yourself for her, the more vulnerable you become. This is the formula for male devastation in relationships. You think I'm exaggerating? Let me introduce Charles. 45 years old, owner of 3 logistics companies in rural Ohio. Second marriage. A family man, hardworking. The type who wakes up at 5 in the morning and falls asleep thinking about spreadsheets. Charles believed this time would be different. The first wife was a youthful mistake. This one was mature, understanding, supportive. For the first 3 years, she encouraged him in every project. Then it started. Small financial requests to help her family. A plastic surgery here, a new car there, always with impeccable justifications. Charles gave in because a real man provides, doesn't he? 10 years later, divorce. Half the assets built over 25 years of sweat evaporated. His reputation tarnished by accusations of emotional neglect spread throughout his social circle. The company almost went bankrupt during the process. Charles now takes Rivotril to sleep and Lexapro to wake up. But Charles is an exception, you think. Let me destroy that illusion right now. What happened to Charles is a pattern, a script, a predictable sequence of events repeating in millions of men's lives right now as you read these words. And the most terrifying part? It starts so subtly that you thank her for helping you become a better person. I will now reveal the 7 mechanisms of annihilation that operate silently in relationships. Each has a name. Memorize them. Recognizing them could be the difference between keeping your sanity or losing it. First, boundary erosion. Death by 1,000 cuts. As Americans say, it's not the big blow that takes you down. It's the 1,000 tiny cuts. Just this once, darling. Don't you care about my happiness? I thought. You truly loved me. Each concession seems insignificant. A dinner with friends canceled here, savings compromised there, a hobby abandoned over there. You rationalize. A relationship is about compromise. But compromise has reciprocity. What you're doing is progressive capitulation, and every surrendered territory is never recovered. Second mechanism, negative intermittent reinforcement. This is the crack cocaine of toxic relationships. She gives you 3 days of paradise. Affection, attention, that kind of sex that makes you forget your own name. Then, a week of Arctic ice. No explanation, no apparent reason. You go crazy trying to understand what you did wrong. You beg for a crumb of affection. And just when you're about to give up, she returns with paradise. Your brain, that biochemical traitor, gets addicted to the cycle. You become a lab rat, obsessively pressing the lever, waiting for the next hit of dopamine. Third, inverted blame projection, a masterpiece of psychological manipulation. She cheats, but it's your fault for not giving enough attention. She spends beyond the budget, but you're the problem for being controlling. She yells and humiliates, but you provoked her with your insensitivity. Do you see the pattern? Every destructive action of hers has you as the cause. You go from victim to defendant in a court where the jury has already decided your sentence before the trial even begins. Fourth mechanism, social resource deprivation. Your friends are a bad influence. Your family is toxic. That hobby of yours is a waste of time. We could spend more time together. Isolation is the first phase of any mind control operation. Cults do it, armies do it, and yes, manipulative partners do it. Without an external perspective, without a support network, you lose the ability to objectively evaluate your situation. The abnormal becomes normal. The unacceptable becomes routine. Fifth, strategic victimization. The Joker card that never fails. When confronted, when the facts are undeniable, she pulls the victim card. Childhood traumas, anxiety, depression. You made me this way. Now I need therapy. I need a trip. I need understanding. And you, programmed since childhood to protect and provide, fall into the trap. Victims cannot be held accountable. Victims need to be saved. And while you play the savior, your life drains away. Sixth mechanism, discreet public disqualification. This is subtle as slow-acting poison. At the party, she tells that funny little story about how you messed up the recipe. At dinner with friends, she questions your investment decision in front of everyone, but smiling, always smiling. It's a joke, honey. Relax. But every joke, every public questioning, every eye roll in your direction undermines your authority, your status, your social position. You become the clown of the relational circus. And clowns aren't respected. Clowns are used for entertainment. Seventh and last, the veiled threat of abandonment. The sword of Damocles hanging over your head. I don't know if I can take this anymore. So-and-so would treat me better. Maybe we need to take a break. Each threat is a test. Will you give in or hold your ground? Most give in. And each concession confirms to her that you're too weak to leave, too submissive to resist. The threat becomes the ultimate lever of control. Now you know the names. But knowing isn't enough if you keep making the same mistakes that worsen the situation. Mistake number 1, I see men make repeatedly. Ignoring warning signs, hoping they'll resolve themselves. As if relational problems were a flu that cures with tea and rest. They're not. They're cancer. The more you ignore them, the more metastases spread. That little argument about money turns into total financial control. That acidic comment turns into constant humiliation. That tantrum turns into emotional tyranny. Mistake 2, trying to fix the woman. Savior of a broken woman is a profession without retirement. You are not a psychologist, therapist, or messiah. It's not your responsibility to heal traumas, resolve neuroses, or compensate for all the men who hurt her before. The more you try to fix her, the more broken you become. It's the law of conservation of emotional energy. Mistake 3, that is destroying men right now. Yielding boundaries to avoid conflict. Temporary peace at the cost of permanent war. Every boundary you yield is lost territory that will never be recovered. Worse, it sets a precedent. If you gave in once, why not give in always? Constructive conflict is healthy. Progressive capitulation is slow-motion suicide. Ethan learned this the hard way. 29 years old, a senior programmer at a fintech startup. A model girlfriend, the kind who stops traffic. First, it was his soccer friends. She didn't like them, thought they were childish. Then it was the gym. Why work out so much if she already loved him as he was? Then came the games, the books, the late nights coding personal projects. Is all that more important than me? Ethan gave up every piece of himself. 2 years later, isolated, anxious, with his work performance plummeting, he came to me. I don't recognize who I am anymore, he said. And that's the point. When you yield all your boundaries, there's nothing left of you, just an empty shell she can mold however she wants. Mistake 4, isolating yourself from your support network. Your friends see what you don't. Your family notices changes you ignore. When you cut these ties, you lose the mirrors that reflect your reality. You become trapped in an echo chamber where only her voice resonates. And that voice will distort your perception until you can no longer distinguish the real from the fabricated. Mistake 5, perhaps the most pathetic, increasing investment, expecting a different return. Like a gambling addict who doubles down after every loss. Is she distant? Buy jewelry? Is she dissatisfied? A trip to Cancun. Does she threaten to leave? Marriage proposal. Einstein defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Apparently, Einstein met many men in toxic relationships. Mistake 6. I see even in successful men, constantly seeking external validation through her. Your worth cannot depend on her mood. Your self-esteem cannot fluctuate with the emotional temperature of the relationship. When you outsource your validation, you hand over the remote control of your life. And believe me, she'll change the channel whenever she wants to destabilize you. Robert lived this for 25 years. A university professor, a PhD in philosophy, internationally published. At home, an emotional doormat. His wife developed what she called chronic fatigue syndrome, never officially diagnosed, curiously. Every professional achievement of his was minimized. Every need of hers was a global emergency. Their retirement savings became an emergency fund for manufactured crises. Alternative treatments, spiritual retreats, life coaches. Robert worked at 3 universities to support the circus. At 55, exhausted, in debt, with no energy for his own projects, he finally understood. It wasn't chronic fatigue syndrome. It was chronic parasitism, and he was the willing host. You're reading this and thinking, but I love her, I can't be calculating. Let me rephrase that sentence for you. You're saying, I prefer to be destroyed rather than protect myself. Love is not voluntary blindness. Love is not romanticized self-destruction. True love coexists with boundaries, with protection, with the preservation of your integrity. If she demands that you destroy yourself to prove love, it's not love she wants. It's control. Now I'm going to give you the survival protocol. 6 steps that will determine whether you emerge from this as an intact man or as human wreckage. Step 1. Map patterns. Get a piece of paper right now. List the last 10 significant conflicts. Identify the trigger, the escalation, the outcome. You'll see patterns emerging like constellations in the night sky. Same provocations, same reactions, same results. A pattern identified is a pattern neutralized. You can't fight an invisible enemy. Step 2. Define non-negotiable boundaries. Not suggestions, not preferences. Boundaries, behavior. X results in consequence Y. No discussion, no negotiation, no second chances. Public respect is a boundary. Fidelity is a boundary. Proportional financial contribution is a boundary. Choose yours. Communicate once. Execute always. Boundaries without consequences are suggestions, and no one respects suggestions. Step 3. Strengthen your social network. Reconnect with abandoned friends. Re-establish contact with family. Build new friendships. Find mentors. Diversify your sources of human connection. Emotional monopoly is a recipe for disaster. When she is your only source of validation, she controls your existence. An abundance of connections means a scarcity of manipulation. Step 4. Diversify sources of value. Your identity cannot be just husband or boyfriend. Invest in your career, resume hobbies, develop skills, build projects, cultivate health. A man with multiple purposes is impossible to destroy completely. When one area is attacked, others sustain the system. Resilience through diversification. Step 5 that no one talks about, but everyone should do. Document incidents. I'm not talking about a teenage diary. I'm talking about factual records. Date, time, event, witnesses, text messages, audio recordings, emails, objective evidence. You may never need it, but if you do and don't have it, regret will consume you. Courts don't operate based on your word against hers. They operate on evidence. And unprepared men lose everything. Step 6, the most important, prepare strategic exits. A separate bank account she doesn't know about. Important documents in a safe place. An attorney consulted preventively. An alternative housing plan. It's not pessimism, it's pragmatism. A firefighter doesn't wait for a fire to start to know where the extinguisher is. You can't negotiate from a position of strength if you have nowhere to go. Optionality is power. Dependence is prison. You are reaching the moment of decision. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Every day you postpone implementing these steps is one more day of erosion. Your bank account won't protect itself. Your mental health won't magically restore itself. Your friends won't return by telepathy. Your identity won't rebuild itself by miracle. The choice is binary and brutal. Either you act now and start taking back control of your life, or you continue on your current trajectory and accept the consequences. There is no middle ground. There is no maybe. There is action, or there is progressive deterioration. Think of Charles, the emotionally bankrupt businessman. Think of Ethan, the anxious and isolated programmer. Think of Robert, the exhausted and indebted professor. Now think of yourself 5 years from now if nothing changes. Same patterns, same concessions, same erosions. Just 5 years older, 5 years more tired, 5 years more broken. How much is your life worth? Simple question, complex answer. Because if your life is worth anything, you cannot continue to allow it to be dismantled piece by piece. If your life is worth anything, you need to protect it as the finite and precious resource it is. Men write to me saying it's too late, that they're too trapped, that they've lost too much. A comfortable lie that keeps you in the familiar zone of deterioration. It's never too late as long as you breathe. Every day is a chance to turn the game around. But the game won't turn itself. You have to flip the board. Others say their woman is different, that their case is special, that it won't happen to me. That's exactly what Charles thought. Ethan too. Robert especially. They all thought they were exceptions, until they discovered they were just another statistic. The truth no one wants to hear, but everyone needs to know. Your capacity to love cannot exceed your capacity to protect yourself. When love becomes a justification for self-destruction, it's no longer love. It's a personal annihilation program with romantic marketing. I know part of you is resisting. You're thinking I'm being too harsh, too cynical, too calculating. That relationships should be about surrender, about trust, about vulnerability. And they should be, in an ideal world, with ideal people. But you don't live in an ideal world. You live in the real world where power dynamics exist, where self-interest operates, where your destruction can be someone's life project. I'm not telling you to become cold, calculating, manipulative. I'm telling you to become aware, protected, strategic. There's a brutal difference between the two. Awareness isn't cynicism. Protection isn't paranoia. Strategy isn't manipulation. Modern man has been programmed to be an unconditional provider, an unrestricted protector, a compulsive savior. Noble in theory, fatal in practice. Because while you play the hero, she might be writing your tragedy. Every word I've written here has a single purpose: to wake you up, not tomorrow, now. Because tomorrow you'll wake up and repeat today. And today is already slowly killing you. Look at your hands now. These hands built your life. Every callus, every scar, every line tells a story of struggle, of work, of achievement. These same hands can protect what you've built, or they can hand everything over on a silver platter to someone who doesn't deserve even a crumb. The choice is yours. It always has been. It always will be. But conscious choice requires knowledge. And now you have knowledge. You know the names of the mechanisms: boundary erosion, negative intermittent reinforcement, blame projection, social deprivation, strategic victimization, public disqualification, threat of abandonment, 7 horsemen of the relational apocalypse. You know the mistakes that amplify destruction: ignoring signs, trying to fix, yielding boundaries, isolating yourself, increasing investment, seeking external validation. 6 ways to accelerate your own annihilation. And most importantly, you know the steps for protection: mapping patterns, defining boundaries, strengthening your network, diversifying value, documenting incidents, preparing exits. 6 pillars of your personal fortress. Now only one thing is missing: courage. Courage to admit you're in a destructive situation. Courage to implement changes. Courage to face consequences. Courage to choose your survival over her approval. Because in the end, that's what we're talking about. Survival. Not just physical. Emotional, financial, psychological, social, spiritual. The integral survival of the man you are, the man you were, the man you can still be. Comment now. What warning sign did you ignore that cost you dearly? No need for details, just the recognition. Because recognizing is the first step to never repeating it again. And if you know a man, a friend, a brother, a father who is experiencing this right now, share this, not tomorrow, now. Because every minute that passes is one more minute of deterioration, and too many good men are being destroyed while you hesitate. The war for your life is happening. Will you fight or will you fall? The answer determines everything.